The developer job market is crashing. At least this is what I felt at the end of 2023 when all those layoffs started happening from big tech companies. Honestly, I can't imagine what you're thinking. What is even the point in pursuing a career in software development, or in this case front-end development, if the job market is basically going to shit? Last year, a lot of companies laid off their employees in tech, and a good chunk of them were software developers. Probably you have already heard this from friends developers, in the news, or any other video out there talking about tech layoffs. So, should you still become a developer? Should you spend thousands of hours studying coding, applying for jobs, prepping for job interviews, and interviewing with hundreds of companies just to most likely be rejected at the end? Okay, let's make this clear so you don't waste your time anymore. Hey friends, I'm Esteban and I've been working as a software engineer in the EU and the UK now for more than 5 years. I happen to have been in your position in the past, and that's why I'm here to help you land your first developer job. So in all sincerity, the software development job market has been really impacted, and front-end development is no exception. These massive layoffs started happening due to the incredible growth tech companies had over the years of the pandemic. So most of them hire more professionals than what they could afford, at least so they say. A couple of years ago, I made a video where I talked about the front-end development roadmap, and there I also talked about the incredible amount of job opportunities. While the roadmap hasn't changed much per se, the quantity of jobs has. But more on that later. So, the developers' demand has changed. If the job market offers fewer opportunities, probably there will be more competition, thus it will be more challenging to get a job. And what about if the demand is not enough for the number of developers? I think we all have that concern when these kind of things happen anyway, so I did a good amount of research. According to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, the overall employment of software developers, quality assurance analysts, and testers is projected to grow 25% from 2022 to 2032, much faster than the average for all occupations. So, apparently, the US expects to add 451k plus new jobs by 2032, and here you can see the graph where surprisingly software development in general still has a whopping percentage growth of around 23% more than other occupations. Now, if we niche down a bit more here, for what seems to be the job market outlook for web developers, which apparently is the category in which front-end developers fall, it says, the overall employment of web developers and digital designers is projected to grow 16% from 2022 to 2032, much faster than the average for all occupations. So, the BLS estimates that there will be an average of 18k job openings for web developers and digital designers each year over the decade. Then, on this other graphic, you can see that front-end development still has a whopping percentage growth of around 14% more than other occupations. Okay, I bet it is not looking so bad after all. And yeah, this also means that there will be more jobs for junior developers, and all of these statistics take into account that many developers will retire and pass on the torch. As it will naturally happen, current junior developers will become more senior developers, and well, the cycle repeats itself, you know how it goes. This is great for the US, but what about Europe? Germany, the UK, and France are actually the countries that have most software developers, hence the countries where most jobs are. It goes for around 800k plus software developers in Germany and the UK, and 400k plus software developers in France, according to this Radix blog. Now, according to another report from GetGiz, Germany has a shortage of around 124k IT experts, including software engineers. In the UK, there's no data precisely about how many developers will be needed, but in 2022 there was already a 43% shortage of professionals in the IT sector, where this article from Tech Republic includes developers. And well, to be honest, it is not looking that bad either for the UK. By the way, remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Apparently the YouTube algorithm loves this. But yeah, moving on. Now, if we jump into salaries, these are still looking very good and no real sign of going down. As of March 4th of 2024, Indeed reported a base annual salary of around 113k plus in the US, where high salaries are even 188k plus for front-end developers. In Europe in general, according to the site Ruby on Remote, the salaries reported for front-end developers as of April 2024 were around $98k and $220k This of course depends on the location and seniority of the developer. Later on, we have that Stack Overflow's 2023 survey has the following average salaries for front-end developers. In the US, $140K, in the UK, $71K, and in Germany, $68K. Of course, this is an average. And by the way, in case you didn't know, every year Stack Overflow releases a survey where developers from around the world respond to questions about developer strengths like technologies being used, the job market, and so on. This now brings us to the next section, skills. Let's start with the technical side. So, what are the skills you need to perform well in the market? Well, in Stack Overflow's survey, JavaScript continues to be the most commonly used language. This is great news for front-end, full-stack, and even back-end developers because you can continue using and learning JavaScript as it is not going anywhere soon. As the most popular language, this means more code bases written in JavaScript and more job openings for JavaScript developers as well. In regards to web frameworks and technologies, Node.js and React are the two most commonly used by developers, following jQuery and Express. I would say go and learn Next.js as well, as it is becoming the standard for creating React applications. Also, remember to keep your skills fresh. So I would also advocate in favor of AI. A lot is going on there for obvious reasons, and the front end is actually a sector that can easily adopt this as well. So you might want to have a look at libraries like TensorFlow. This will make you even more relevant in the market and will probably boost your salary. In regards to soft skills, there are a lot of surveys talking about how soft skills are every day more important. I feel these have always been important no matter what profession we work in, as at the end of the day we always deal with people, these being clients or even development teams, so make sure to work on this as well. Communication and teamwork should be the key to your professional career. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I talked about how many front-end development job offers there were in 2022, and I explained this in a previous video. Basically, I did a couple of searches back then on LinkedIn and Indeed. So in 2022, only in the UK, which is where I live, we had 27k job openings on Indeed, and now we have close to 4k job openings. The market has definitely changed, but the future outlook still seems very promising. In my opinion, front-end development still looks like a great career prospect for anybody wanting to pursue this path. There will be more demand for these engineers, and salaries are still one of the best compared to any other occupations out there. So Stack Overflow's survey shows a clear lack of front-end developers in the market, having the lowest number of years of professionally experienced developers. By the way, if you want to know what front-end developer roadmap you should follow to get your first job, I do recommend you watch this video I released some time ago. I'm gonna place it around here. It is still pretty relevant. I think as a junior or aspiring developer, it is also good for you to know that only 4.75% of respondents of the Stack Overflow survey are not employed but looking for work. So yeah, just a small amount of unemployed professionals. Honestly, the market is not as bad as it could feel because of how challenging it can be sometimes to get a job. So go for it and give your best. Hopefully see you in the next one. Ciao ciao.